My name's Carmelo, and hello from the most southwestern corner in Australia. My name's Carmelo, and hello from the most southwestern corner in Australia. I live in the Margaret River region, and today I'm going to show you one of my most favourite seafoods that I like diving for and eating, and that's abalone. Abalone are a mollusk, and they cling to rocks. They suck on rocks for their dear life, and they are fun to get, and they are so tasty to eat. Some people ask, what do they taste like? Well, for me, they're like a cross between a scallop, an oyster, a prawn, a mussel, all blended together and thrown around in a mixer. Some people love them, absolutely love them, especially Asian people love them. And they are yum, they're absolutely yum. But here's a video that I did the other week, and it's on the 3 different varieties that we get down here, the sizes and the daily bag limits. So I'll give you an intro to those, and then I'm going to show you how to shuck these little puppies. Okay, I live in the most southwestern corner of Western Australia. We get 3 different types of abalone. You've got what's known as a roe abalone, which is this guy here, this small fella. The legal limit for these are 6 centimeters. That's really, really small. This one's about 8 centimeters. You have the green lip abalone, which are the larger ones. See that green lip on the edge? The legal limit for these are 14 centimeters, 140 mil. And then you have what's known as brown lip abalone, which are these big fellas here. You normally find these inside caves or inside holes. You do find some on the outside, and these are 14 centimeters as well, 14 centimeters. And your daily bag limit is you can get 20 of the roe-eyes and 5, a mix of 5 green or browns. There used to be 10 years ago, but now it's 5, and they are fished out. I used to go to places where you could go and get your abs in about 10 minutes, and now they are polished, absolutely polished. So anyway, just going to show you these 6 centimeter ones. These are the ones that I get sometimes. So, or sorry, that was 8 centimeters. But the ones that I get, I'll measure these. These are 110, which is 11 centimeters, 110 mil. They're pretty big, okay? And then for your legal limit of brown or greens, which are 14 centimeters, have a look at this humdinger. I thought it was a hubcap for a car. And this fella comes in at 20 centimeters. 20 centimeters for this fella. Don't believe me? Check that out. I don't know if I'm holding that up properly. 20 centimeters, mate. What a corker. It's about 300 grams of flesh there. So, what is the best way to prepare these? How do you prepare them? Okay, so the term for detaching this meat from this beautiful shell is called shucking, like shucking an oyster or a scallop, I guess, with this rounded spoon. What I do is I go in there and under, and all I do is I detach what I call the foot from the shell. See that poo sac? I keep it intact, with the actual shell. And the reason there is so it's easier to remove. So if you keep that in there, and then you get your knife and you detach this bit of flesh from the foot, you then pull it away. And if it doesn't pull away like this one, you just keep cutting. You keep cutting. And there you go, and just keep pulling that away. Keep pulling that away. Okay, and then here you have an anus part. I just chop that. So the question is now, what's a man to do with all this abalone poo and shells? What's he to do with it all? Well, it's very simple. what I do is all these lovely shells, I'm going to wash, and then I'm going to put them in my garden, and the ants are going to clean them all up for me and make them nice and new. And then I give them away to people, and people use them as candle holders. People use them as ashtrays, unfortunately. I don't understand how someone hasn't come up with a dinner plate collection, the Abalone collection, for all you New Yorkers and Londoners and hoi polloi and bourgeoisie. It would be stunning. If you go online and have a look at power shells and abalone shells, there are an amazing artists that do things with them. So I'm going to clean my tools. I'm going to put all my broken shells and all this incredible abalone poo in my mulch container, and I will see you very soon. Okay, so all the broken shells and all that lovely poo straight in the mulch container. And check this out. This is why I do all this on newspaper. Watch this. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Fold it all up, and that's it. I just wipe down my bench. Now, before we get on to how to cook these babies, I'm going to show you something. This here is my abalone bar. It's an abalone iron. Normally, people use like a knife, like a dive knife. And I like my Rio bar. I like my Rio bar because it's longer. I make these myself. You have to spend a bit of time on a grinding stone, making like a screwdriver head. And if you do it yourself, you need a cobalt drill to drill a hole in, because I normally lose about 5 or 6 of these a year. And then one day I had this brilliant idea of coming up with a boogie board strapped to my arm. And since that day, I've not lost these. And this abalone iron has got a kink in it. You'll see that it's not straight. And the reason why is when the abalone's on the thing, on the rock, you can pop it off easier because you've got that leverage, and it's got strength. So even big brown lips in caves, bang, off they come. Now, the other thing, your knives and your spoons. When you use a knife, people abuse knives all the time. They leave them in dishwash racks like this one here, and the stainless edge hits the metal edge and you blunt your knives. So wash them and put them away straight as you use them. Mine's now on a magnet rack. Spoons, I don't bother drying. I wash them and I let them hang up there and drip dry. So now what are we going to do with these things? We need a square sheet of aluminium foil. We need some baking paper, but I'm going to do 2. One of my pet hates with baking paper is people tear them and rip them, and they've got horrible edges. They even use the cutting edge on the roll of the baking paper. All you need to do is fold it, crease it, use a knife and slice. It's that simple. It is such a pet hate when I get bits of baking paper all torn. I'm going to do 2 of these, so let's get ready for 2. All right, we're going to start with some sesame oil. Okay, bit of sesame oil. I've got to watch it because that's going to drip. We got salt. We've got pepper. Lots of black pepper. I love heaps of black pepper. You cannot get enough black pepper. Okay. We need our abalone. Hang on, I haven't got the abalone. I put the abalone in the fridge. So here we go. We've got our abalone, 1 and 2 abalone. I've got some sliced garlic. Okay, loads of sliced garlic. I like everything overpowered with garlic. I'm incredibly sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I love loads of raw garlic. Okay, I've got some dried basil leaves, but these were fresh. But I'm drying them myself, and they're actually semi-dried, but they're going to be absolutely fine. Okay, so we've got our dried basil leaves. I'm going to do a little bit more salt on the top. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of this. You don't want the white, hey? It's going to throw in a strip of that. Strip of lemon zest on the top of each one. And then what you do when you do on Papillotte is, on Papillotte basically means in paper. This is French. This is very French. On Papillotes is you wrap them and then you wrap them in the alfoil. And then you've got this little puppy here. And do the same with this fella. Wrap it, because what's going to happen is this is going to steam within its paper package. You can do that a lot neater if you work in a Michelin star restaurant, or if you're at home at my house. Just get it together, man. Okay, now that we've got our abalone wrapped on Papillotte in paper and the alfoil, I'm going to bake them for approximately an hour at between 100 and 120 degrees. I'll probably go 120 degrees this time. And you know when they're cooked when you use a knife and you poke it straight through, just like you would check potatoes for mash. Everybody knows how to cook potatoes, hey? Roast potatoes, mashed potatoes. So when you get it straight through and it goes through clean, you know that it's soft and tender. My favorite way of cooking abalone, by the way, is cutlets, or as Italians say, cotolette, or as Germans say, schnitzel. So schnitzel, cotolette, cutlet is the same thing, which is you slice them horizontally, you bash them, you flour them, you egg them, you crumb them, and then you shallow fry them in deep oil, which isn't really that good for you. So what I do is I use a hot press, like a George Foreman grill, a toasted panini sandwich maker, and it takes a quarter of the time, and they don't curl up, and you don't use as much oil if you cook these in a press. But I'm going to show you how to do them, and we're going to go to Jeremy and Fabia's house once these are cooked in my little tiny oven over here, which is absolutely awesome. It'll beat your oven any day. Fan forced, regular, even, low costs on electricity. But we're going to see what they're like when we get to Jeremy and Fabia's place. And I'm also going to make some rissoles, like burger type rissoles, or as the Kiwis, as our bros back in New Zealand, hey, as they say, power rissoles. I'm going to make some of those. I'm actually going to make some of those today before I go to Jeremy and Fabia's. So we'll see what they're like when we get there. Okay, in the oven they go. That simple. We'll see you guys in a little bit.